Before we set up and execute our sample Angular application, let's take a look at the steps we'll follow. We'll first navigate down to the project folder. The project folder is the folder that includes the package.json file. This file contains the list of all the packages that the application needs. Then we'll run npm install to install the packages defined in the package.json file. We'll see what this looks like in a moment. If the installation completes successfully, we execute the application by running npm start. I've already generated the package.json file for the Angular application we'll build throughout this course. I've also created the support files, style sheets, and data files. These files are available in my GitHub repository at this link. Using this sample application as a starting point allows us to get going quickly building our Angular application, as it already has data we can work with and style sheets prepared. But don't worry, we'll create an Angular application from scratch right after we get this sample application up and running. Let's download the sample application files now. I've navigated to my GitHub repository following the URL from the slide. If you are comfortable with Git, you can clone this repository. Otherwise, click this button to download all of the code as a single zip file. The APM final folder contains the completed code for our sample application. Use these files if you want to see the end result. The APM start folder contains the starter files. These are the files we will use as the starting point for building an Angular application. Also notice the changelog.md file here. It lists all of the changes made to this course and its sample code since the course was released. The links.md file contains the list of links from the course, so you can simply click on them instead of typing them in. After cloning or downloading the files, copy or extract the files in the APM start folder to a working directory called just APM. Your working APM folder should then look like this. Let's open the folder with a code editor. I've opened the APM working folder with VS Code. First, let's talk about the directory structure. By convention, all of our source files are under a folder called src. Under that folder is an app folder that contains the source files specific for our application. We only have a few folders and files here now, but we'll add more as we progress through this course. For applications of any size, we'll have subfolders under the app folder for each major feature in the application. The other files here are configuration and setup files, often called boilerplate files. To get us going quickly, we won't dive into all of these files now. We'll learn more about them in the building, testing, and deploying with the CLI module later in this course. Before we can execute this code, we need to install all of the libraries required to develop and run our application. Where are those defined? In the package.json file here. This file contains a list of all of the application's dependencies. Toward the top of this file is a set of scripts. We can execute these scripts using npm. We'll learn more about these scripts throughout this course. For now, let's install all of these libraries. First, open a command prompt or terminal. VS Code has an integrated terminal we can use. View Terminal. Next, navigate to the folder containing the package.json file. VS Code did that for us. Then type npm install. This installs all of the dependencies defined in the package.json file, along with any of their dependencies. Note that you may see some warnings and messages during this installation process, like these. In most cases, you can ignore them. If you see something like this at the end, the installation completed successfully. If you see a message telling you to run a fix, don't do it. Running a fix will attempt to update the versions of some of the packages without updating all of them, which will cause errors when you try to run the application. This fix message tells you that there are vulnerabilities in libraries that will never be deployed anyway, like the testing libraries. So ignore this message. Notice that we now have a Node Modules folder here. This is where npm installed all our packages. This folder is large, so you may want to exclude it when you check your files into a source control system. Now that we have the libraries installed for our sample application, let's try running it.